Classic Restos, proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, HARE&FORBES Machinery House, RYCO Filters, Evans Waterless Coolants, and Pace Farm. G'day, I'm Fletch, and thanks to Venture Taranaki, located here in the beautiful township of New Plymouth in the North Island of New Zealand, welcome to another episode of Classic Restos, and I will tell you more right after this. It's thanks to Shannons. Ask about multi-policy discounts and sign up for the Shannons Club. Call 134646 for a quote and see more at shannons.com.au. And HARE&FORBES has the range. Buy online at machineryhouse.com.au. This episode is encapsulated around the gorgeous region of the Taranaki, and Venture Taranaki is the place that you go to find out more information before you plan your visit. Meet the region of Taranaki, hosting a breathtaking backdrop. Its main geographical feature, the stratovolcano of Mount Taranaki, towering and intimidating 2,518 metres tall. It looks over the region as though it's in charge. The New Plymouth district has over 65% of the population and home to almost 120,000 people. The people of the Taranaki region pride themselves on a legendary landscape, an almost unbeatable lifestyle, events of mammoth proportion, and a culture of innovation. It's a place where words don't give justice. It's a place that has to be visited to be truly appreciated. Find out everything you need to at taranaki.info. Every year around the Taranaki, there is an amazing 4-day celebration of the American lifestyle of yesteryear. Here in New Zealand, it's an opportunity to show off just about every American car that's ever been built. Well, it certainly feels like that. No other event in the world is quite like this one, an event where thousands of locals get behind it and embrace it. Welcome to the 10th annual Americarna, celebrating USA culture at its finest. Okay, here's how it works. Hundreds of classics gather 4 mornings in a row. Then there are different cruise destinations each day. At the end of each day, everyone goes their own way. Next day, off we all go again. Day 1, the official start of Mainstream Americana 2017. This cruise is an old favourite. It's off to Opanaki Beach, cruising Surf Highway 45. All entrants park up, enjoy lunch, and let the afternoon roll on by. Day 1 of Americana here at the beautiful Opanaki Beach. Talk about a vehicle that sets a benchmark. A 1934 Packard. How you doing, Graeme?
Good, thanks, Fletch.
That's right. Thanks for bringing this along.
That's all right. Beautiful day for it.
It is a beautiful day. Graeme, where do we start with this vehicle?
We bought this vehicle in its present condition in 2007, but where do we start? It was privately imported into Australia. I believe its owner lived 400 kilometres north of Sydney. It was going to be restored. For whatever reason it wasn't, and it was sold at Shannons auction house, and a gentleman by the name of Steve Trott bought it into New Plymouth, and he knew he could get all the bits and pieces for it, and it had a 4-year restoration by a gentleman by the name of Trevor Gordon in Cattycat, north of Tauranga, and we bought it off Steve in 2007.
Well, talk about a notepad full of information. This bloke is, Graeme. That's tremendous, knowing that history of the vehicle. We look at the restoration. It is absolutely flawless. It's another example as to the calibre of vehicle that Americana, as an event, attracts.
Yes, that's right. We've got such a range of cars from the old to the new, and none of us are out of place.
Okay, engine up front, Graeme. Run us through what the specs are there.
Specs are 6.3 straight 8, We've got 3.5 inch bore and 5.5 inch stroke, and I think we're somewhere around the 145 horsepower.
So when you put the foot down, like through the gears, you can feel it. It wants to go.
Oh yeah, it wants to go. It's only 3-speed. You can actually on bitumen just start off in top gear. It's a real slugger motor.
So they've got like a 3.9 or a 4.1 rear gear ratio or something, is it?
It's when you're in top gear, you can, as I said, you can take off in top gear, start in top gear. You can actually get out and walk beside the car. Just.
Yeah, that's the thing. And it's a very sad story about Packard in the United States. They didn't fail because they weren't a good car. They built an absolutely tremendous car, didn't they?
They did. They certainly did. And after the war, they never really got back to where they were before.
You are watching the amazing Americarna for 2017, and I know that you're seeing it first on Classic Restos. Back with more right after this.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons,
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be.
Shannon's.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Australia's changed over the last 80 years, and RYCO Filters has changed with it. But one thing stayed the same: RYCO's commitment to develop and test all our filters under Australian conditions. Today, we're proudly celebrating our 80-year commitment to a design philosophy that ensures all oil, air and fuel filters meet or exceed vehicle manufacturers' specifications, delivering genuine quality and performance you can trust. RYCO Filters, the professional's choice.
If you have a restoration project, HARE&FORBES has the tools that you need. Look at these restoration products: shrinker stretchers, dollies, mallets, bead rollers, profile gauges, professional panel restoration kits, and so much more. Now I warn you, enter at your own risk because you will end up buying something. So come along to your Cap City store or browse and buy online at machineryhouse.com.au because HARE&FORBES has the range.
Evans waterless engine coolant. Simple to install and stays good for the life of the engine. Suitable for all engine types, Evans contains no water, eliminating corrosion, vapour pressure and overheating. With a boiling point of 190 degrees Celsius, there's no application or environment too extreme. evanscoolants.com.au. Water for drinking, Evans for cooling.
Day 2 of the celebration of American culture like no other. Americarna 2017. Behind me, over 850 classic vehicles are filling up the paddock here at the gathering point for another picturesque cruise to the township of Waitra. Here we are, parked up in the township here of Waitra. Just for some trivia, back in 2006, 6,300 people lived here in this pretty little town. And in 2017, 6,324. Yes, an increase of 24 people over that time, but today we're adding a lot more to that. The power of Americarna. The main street here has been blocked where over 800 American classics have parked up. It's time to get around now and have a look and see what Americarna is doing for Waitra and what Waitra is putting on for Americarna. A regular here to Americarna year after year. From Salt Lake City, United States of America, we have Willie the Hillbilly. How you doing, Willie?
Hey, Fletch, I'm doing great.
It's good to see you back.
It's good to be back.
A true American here, celebrating Americana in New Zealand. That's pretty cool.
Well, it's more American than the 4th of July is back home. We don't turn out like this for our holidays.
I
love it here.
I still think there are tens of thousands of American enthusiasts that are unaware of what actually happens down here.
Yeah, true. But I tell them about it. I say this is the best car event I've ever been to in my life.
And they'd listen to you too, Willie, wouldn't they?
Some have, I think.
Yeah. Look at the way you dress, and you got
I wanted to dress nice, I want to fit in,
Willie, you always dress nice.
Oh, I thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
And you got your bottle of Shine there, hey?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. So
good on you, mate. Well, you get around and you enjoy this Americana, Willie.
I'm trying, but the people here are so unfriendly.
Of course they are.
They want to take my picture. They all stare at me. It's just
And I mean, you're dressed perfectly normal, aren't you?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But
right.
no, I quite like it here.
Well, I know you're trying. You don't get much more trying than Willie.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Have a good one.
You too. You want a drink before we go?
Yeah. We'll go and have a sip. Yeah.
A sip of that.
Yeah.
Tell me what you think it is.
Oh, jeez. Supporting the genuine Americana shirt. How you doing, Mervin?
Very good, Fletch.
That's the way, mate.
Thank you.
Beautiful 1931 Model A Ford.
Yep.
What's it mean to you?
A lot of hard work.
Now, I believe you just finished restoring this.
Yep.
Okay.
4 years.
Wow.
Took me 4 years.
Yeah. How was it when you got it?
Bit of a basket case.
Was it? Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Was there times through the project, Mervin, where you thought, I might have to reassess this and give up, or did you kept on persevering?
No, we kept persevering. 3 steps forward and 2 backwards.
That's the way. Now tell us, through your eyes here, what do you think of this big park up here in Waitra?
That's marvellous. We've been doing it for the last 10 years it's been coming. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, your car is certainly an integral part of the lineup here in the main street. What's it like on the open road to drive? Is it a good old girl?
It's going fairly well at the moment. We're still trying to run the motor in and we're having a few issues, but it's not doing too bad.
Yep. You've done a lovely job on the outside with the cosmetics, Mervin.
Yeah. No, my son and I done most of the work on it, apart from the paint.
All right, Mervin. Well, look, there's a big line of cars here. I mean, you should see this. I mean, to block off any town and throw in over 800 classic American cars is quite spectacular. Enjoy the rest of the day, Mervin.
Yep. Thank you, Fletch, and we always watch the show on TV. And
good.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, there's a lot of staunch supporters over here for Classic Restos. You're a good bunch. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fletch.
Okay, mate. See you, buddy.
Yep.
These Woody wagons, they're gaudy to some, but they're so unique. How you doing, Doug?
I'm going well, thank you, Fletch. About yourself?
Good, mate, good. Now, tell us about this. It's a 1973, an LTD country Squire, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's factory 429 air-conditioned car. It's basically stock. It's had a couple of little updates on it for MSD, and it's now running fuel injection, but other than that, 8-track, everything in there. 8 seats, it's all good.
Dougie's got the hamburger with a lot, and this big girl behind me here. Now, the thing is this, that they're certainly in a past era. These were the cars that ran the kids to school. They went to the shopping malls. They were the family trucksters. And, well, I guess as a consequence, a lot were damaged, a lot were trashed over the years. There's not a real lot of these left, is there?
None. I've seen one of an early model in here, other than the 50s versions, but there's not a lot of them left. And as you say, they're unloved because people think they're ugly. Well, I do too, but I love it.
Well, this is the thing, because, I mean, they've all got their own beauty, haven't they?
Yeah, correct. As you can see, it's not pretty, but it's mine. I love it.
Absolutely. And also, adding to that, as ugly as some may think it is, these cars were incredibly comfortable to drive, weren't they?
Yeah, it eats up road miles like crazy. You jump in it like we're 7 Up today and we're just cruising. It's easy.
Yeah. So, it's just all that weight floating along.
Yeah, well, I believe it's about 2.4 tonne, just cruising. So,
And like you say, the big lazy 429, it's lazy power. They do an easy job, don't they?
yeah, it does. It's nothing special, but just cruises at 2,000 RPM, and it's great.
Yeah, good on you, Dougie. Now, a close friend of mine by the name of Mark Beer, we went to the United States last year, and he picked up himself a 1978 Colony Park wagon.
Yep.
And you can see that episode. Look at shannons.com.au, the Shannons Club, and search for that episode. It's only a few episodes back. Have a look at that. But you can certainly see the similarities from the 73 through to the 78. Again, it's the end of an era for these types of wagons.
Yeah, they changed that shape not long after that one, so yeah, it would be the last of that LTD Mercury shape.
Yeah. Well, good on you, Doug. And don't forget to have a look at that episode, because we went from Detroit to San Francisco in that car, in that 78, and it never missed a beat.
Yeah, great cars. Love cruising in it.
Yeah. Good on you, Doug. Take care, mate.
Thank you very much, Fletch.
I thought your wagon was certainly worthy for an interview.
Thank you very much.
Well, here we go. This is the park up in Waitra, and the day isn't over yet. We're still in day 2. We're approaching later in the afternoon, and we're on our way now to Inglewood. Now, the drive there is absolutely spectacular. It's along Aotearoa Road, which is just down from Do You Think He Did? Which is just across from Diddy Diddy Why Did He Do It? Which is just west of Tali Tali Huyu Kokimikitora. Phew, it's just so hard. Well, here we are. We've just arrived in Inglewood, and how spectacular was the drive here. Rolling hill countryside, winding roads drop like a ribbon over the landscape, and that tunnel through the mountain, well, that made things even more unique. You're watching the largest event celebrating the American lifestyle outside of the United States of America. It's Americarna 2017, and you're seeing it first on Classic Restos. Back with more right after this.
I spend a lot of time out here. The RT Charger's the real deal. An E49. Remember A-Charger? I've always got projects on the go, so Shannon's laid-up cover helps protect my restorations. I'm Mopar through and through. It's a passion Shannon's understands. I wouldn't insure my cars and bikes with anyone else.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Evans waterless engine coolant. Simple to install and stays good for the life of the engine. Suitable for all engine types, Evans contains no water, eliminating corrosion, vapour pressure and overheating. With a boiling point of 190 degrees Celsius, there's no application or environment too extreme. evanscoolants.com.au. Water for drinking, Evans for cooling.
HARE&FORBES Machinery House has been family owned and operated for over 85 years, and it's easy to see why. And with a range like this, you cannot go wrong. Planning on welding? Look at these welding tables and clamps. Air compressors and different air tools. Sandblasting cabinets, through to spray guns. Everyone is welcome at Machinery House, and they're also open Saturday mornings. Their range of machine tools are workshop tested. There are competitive freight rates around Australia, and you can buy online at machineryhouse.com.au. So remember, HARE&FORBES has the range.
Australia's changed over the last 80 years, and RYCO Filters has changed with it. But one thing stayed the same: RYCO's commitment to develop and test all our filters under Australian conditions. Today, we're proudly celebrating our 80-year commitment to a design philosophy that ensures all oil, air and fuel filters meet or exceed vehicle manufacturers' specifications, delivering genuine quality and performance you can trust. RYCO Filters, the professional's choice.
How cool is this town of Inglewood? It has come alive here this afternoon for Americarna, usually hosting a population of around about 3,500 people. This afternoon the cars are parked up, we've got a live band playing over there out of the back of a semi-trailer. This whole Inglewood experience, it's a graceful little town and just something else for you to see when you experience Americarna. When it comes to very, very cool, things don't get much better than a 1970 Plymouth Superbird. How you doing, Andrew?
Oh, I'm great, thanks, Fletch.
That's the way, mate. Thanks for bringing this along.
Well, you're most welcome.
Mate, sorry to have to disturb you there in the pub and get you out here for the interview, but I just had to.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I'm just taking it easy.
Now, mate, tell us, what's the story behind this beautiful car?
My own story with it was that about a year ago, my father actually gave me a ring and said we need to have a family meeting. And I thought the worst and turned up at the family meeting, and this was rolled out of the garage, and he turned it off and threw the keys to me and said happy birthday. So it was quite an amazing, built in secret by my dad with a guy in Tauranga. And
so you had no idea that he had the car?
And at the time I was the same guy in Tauranga was racing. We were racing, and he was working on the race car, so whenever I turned up he had to hide the bird.
Have you always been a Mopar family?
We have been. Dad's got a Barracuda with a Hemi in it as well that he races in historic muscle.
Yep.
But it's probably been the last 10 years. I mean, I guess there's so many Camaros and Mustangs around that we wanted something different. And of course we love the Hemis.
I just love that story. I think that's beautiful. Okay, we could talk about that for a long time. Let's have a look at the car. Now, these were very gimmicky back in the day. They couldn't sell them. They were designed for one purpose, and that was NASCAR. These cars were good for over 200 miles an hour in these configurations. We're talking, you work out the Ks on that, 300 odd kilometres an hour. Steel wheels, tyres that back in the day were termed or looked upon as good, but we look back now in today's standards, they weren't that crash hot.
Sure.
Richard Petty, renowned for driving these cars. Yeah. Now, when the car is at speed, how good is the rear wing and how good is the nose cone?
It's quite amazing, really. At speed, the car settles right down, and I don't know whether it's the front or the back of the car or both, but it just settles right down. The steering gets more positive. It just feels a different car. It's amazing.
You know, they run these things, well, they did at NASCAR for a purpose, and they were actually banned, the Hemi cars. Well, you'd know that, having one.
Yep.
The competitors, they really gave the competitors a run for their money. But by the same token, when Ford built the 429, that kept the Hemi very honest.
Yes, absolutely it did. I mean, it's a great era, wasn't it? You know, from 68 onwards with the manufacturers all fighting, spending money, producing fantastic cars, great cars, iconic cars. Yep. And we've been able to enjoy them now.
When you look at the history of the Americans, they kind of had things back to front. I mean, you consider sports car from the European side of things, they were smaller cars for tight racetracks. Yep. The Americans, they just used their passenger cars that were almost, in some cases, 20 feet long, and they used to race those.
Just put a big engine in it and go, hey, good old boys.
Absolutely. Now, we look at the interior of the car. Your father has done an incredible job. He's still with us, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Good. Yep, I had to ask that. Yep. He has done a wonderful job on this. I mean, the paintwork's almost flawless, Andrew.
Yeah, no, look, I was amazed when looking around the car and spending time with the car now, the job that all the guys have done helping to achieve that. It's fantastic.
Yep. Yeah. I think the parts cross-pollination amongst brands too. I mean, we've got a 1970 Plymouth Superbird here, same dashboard as a 1968 Dodge Charger. Yep. That shape over the hips of the rear quarters, the front fenders, the roof line. Oh, just what an iconic shape.
Yeah, no, it is absolutely. It's 100%. I love it.
Andrew, I really appreciate the chat with you, mate. I love this car. I mean, what do you say about it? It's just incredible, mate. Well done.
Awesome. I'm a very, very lucky person.
You are.
Yep.
Good on you, mate.
Great. Thanks, Fletch.
You're right. Well, how cool is this? Americarna for 2017. So cool that part 2 is going to be on next week's episode of Classic Restos. In the meantime, no matter where you're watching the show from, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Classic Restos TV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos, proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, HARE&FORBES Machinery House, RYCO Filters, Evans Waterless Coolants and Pace Farm.